And so I'm excited to talk to everyone about what I think is the greatest exciting new thing in the world of technology. And it does have a very important potential impact on genealogical collaboration, as well as family-to-family communications, as well as affecting every other part of life, professional and technical and innovation, communities, governments, nonprofit organization. Anyone that needs to communicate, share, and organize is going to find that Google Plus is taking social networking to a new level of reach and of ease of use and of putting consumers in control of what they see and who sees what they share. It's actually being referred to broadly at Google, I think, as a sharing network, not necessarily just a social network. But I will kind of jump in for about 15 more minutes and share with you my early experience with Google Plus and why I think it's such an exciting development, and how I am excited to interact with people all over the world on this new platform. So the first slide I'll show is an interesting graphic depiction done by a new friend that I've made in Oslo, Norway, named Leon Halland. He had been following some of my statistics that were tracking the number of new users coming onto Google Plus each day. I was trying to update my model every few days, and I was able to successfully predict when Google Plus hit 10 million users. It was a fairly accurate projection. And then, of course, Google CEO Larry Page confirmed that they had passed 10 million users on their earnings call a couple weeks ago. So Google, if you look at this chart, I mean, this does look like a rocket ship. Speaking of the space shuttle launch, 16 days to 10 million users. Pretty astonishing that a new website can attract that many users that quickly. In fact, Google hasn't even begun to market Google Plus broadly. They had a few tens of thousands of early users, and then those users were able to invite a limited number of people, and then the invitations were shut down for a period of time. Then Google decided they wanted to double their user base, and so they opened up invitations, and yet the invitations are not really designed to get everybody on Google Plus yet. The Google Plus team is still working through a lot of issues about real names, about functionality, about the stream, and so they don't want the whole world on Google Plus yet, but the time will come when they will be all, systems go, the green light will be turned on, and then I will show you a couple of reasons why I think Google will get hundreds of millions of users, and potentially Facebook and Google would both have over 1 billion users in the coming years, and I'll explain why I think that will happen. But Twitter, obviously, and Facebook reached 10 million users over a much longer period of time. They were pioneers in the social networking space, both with very different value propositions and use cases. But the next slide shows that Google continued its really rapid growth, and it got the next 10 million users in another 8 days, and so it went from 10 million to 20 million. So it's very exciting. Obviously, a social network or a sharing network works best when you have lots of people on it. When you have a critical mass, your friends, your family, your coworkers, your neighbors, it makes it easy to share with all of those people if they're actually using the system. But interestingly enough, Google Plus allows you to add someone to a circle that is not yet a user of Google Plus. So, for example, my mother uses Facebook quite a bit. Years ago, she used myfamily.com almost every day to communicate with her children and grandchildren, and she's not yet a member of Google Plus. However, if I want to share something with my entire family, my children, some of my college-age kids are on Google Plus, and so I have a circle with my family in it. And my mom's in that circle, and Google Plus knows her email address. So if I want to share a photo of my 6-year-old and make sure that my mom sees it, I will just share it with that circle, and then those who can view it on Google Plus can view it there, and then my mom will get an email with the photo so that she isn't left out. And that's quite a nice umbrella approach to make sure.
This in some ways is a task that I was very excited about, but in other ways one I didn't want. How do you take something that, hundreds of engineers, I'm sure, I don't know how many, but a lot of people in Google have been working on this tremendous offering for many, many months, and how do we reduce it down to 20 to 25 minute time chunk? Fasten your seatbelts. We're going to move quickly through this, and we'll address as much as we can in the time we have today. Google Plus, as Paul has already hinted to some of the capabilities, Google Plus is already very feature-rich right now. But I think just in the weeks and months to come, the capabilities and the screens are certainly going to evolve. So for those who might be watching this broadcast at a later point in time, don't be surprised if you see or read about features that have not yet been anticipated in terms of the user community trying to take this collection of services in a direction maybe that Google had not even anticipated. All right, the screenshots that you're going to be seeing today are certainly from real accounts, and so in a couple of small cases, certain elements have been masked for the privacy of my friends and family members and contacts. And also note that there's customization. Paul talked about the customization that is already possible and others which will come. What you're seeing today are the screens that are going to be what I'll call the plain vanilla version. These have not been customized. There's no plugins, all right? And so I'm trying to give those of you who are new to Google Plus as close a look as possible to what you'll see when you step in. All right. The emphasis certainly will be on examples for family history and genealogy, but there's certainly many uses worldwide for all different folks. Now, at the very beginning of the talk, there was a survey, and 81%, if I recall the number correctly, had Google accounts. So people will be familiar with that, but only 19% had Google Plus. And so I think this should be a good overview, and we're going to just jump right in. Now, there are 4 key terms that I think are important to note, and so let's kind of clear those right at the beginning. You're going to hear talk about circles, sparks, hangouts, and streams. Paul even mentioned the streams, all right? Let me just kind of share quick definitions. The circles are groups for the people in your lives, whether they be family, friends, business, or social contacts. Sparks are simply the topics of interest, okay, whatever they happen to be. In our case, we share family history and genealogy in common. And then Hangouts, Mark will certainly do a great job this afternoon of taking you through the detail of possibilities with Hangouts. But the virtual meeting places where you can get together with, I say 10 people, 10 per session, but really a limitless number of people to discuss different things on different topics. And also the stream of content. All right, there's information that's being shared by a range of people online that are part of your network. And as that's shared, it's in the stream which serves as the central point. So what I did was, in thinking about these terms, it really struck me that these terms really aren't that new at all. And so I'm going to read just 2 simple sentences that I put together that hopefully this is how I'd like us to think about these new terms. There's a steady stream of content which is being shared every day by your circles of family members, friends, business, and social contacts. You can search for whatever sparks your interest and then hang out and share with others from around the world. And this really, I think, ties together nicely the concepts that are core to Google+. The stream of content, your circles of contacts, the topics of interest, which, of course, they spark your interest, and then, of course, the ability to hang out and discuss them. All right, so I'll move along. Certainly the Google homepage, which we're all familiar with. Upper right-hand corner, 81% of you have a Google account, so you know this. I'm going to jump through it pretty quick. For those of you who do not have a Google account, please note that to use Google+, you have to have a Google account. Okay, they're free, and if you have Gmail or Picasa or use Google Alerts and so forth, you might not even be aware that you already have a Google account. Now, Google+ is still in what they call a limited field trial. Now, it's hard to think about any product with 20 million users being a limited field trial, but when you consider the number of people who are on the internet every day, this certainly is limited. We'll kind of sit back and watch as Paul tracks the statistics and Google shares some of their numbers. Later in the presentation, we'll actually share, for those of you who do not yet, who have a Google account but do not have a Google+ account, we'll actually share a way that you can hopefully get an invitation, and we'll do our best to make sure to share invitations with you through mechanisms that we have. All right. Once we are signed into our Google
Thank you very much, Dan. That's the perfect lead-in to showing my screen, which is going to be a Google Hangout that's live, currently going on right now. I guess you guys got the advantage. You don't have your faces showing, and here we go. You're going to see mine now. I hope that's working. Can you see me okay?
Okay, it looks good now, yes.
Okay, good. Let me just start off by saying this is truly a worldwide phenomenon, I think. I mean, I just am loving being in this Google Plus Hangout. On July 20th, my brother Philip and I decided to start a Hangout at 6 p.m. that night. We had planned for it. I kind of rewired my basement. My wife banned me down to the basement because I told her it was going to be a marathon. It was going to last for possibly days, and now it's been 26 days, so very exciting. I have unofficial word from Google that we've had over 5,000 unique people come in and out of our marathon Hangout. And one of the interesting things is that I put up this picture behind me of the bridge, and I didn't even know where it was from. And within a few hours, I had found out from people that came in randomly into this worldwide discussion and identified it as the Queensboro 59th Street Bridge in Manhattan. And I didn't have any clue what it was. I just bought it on sale at some place with my wife for just a nice picture to cover up some bare walls. I think the bridge speaks a lot about what we're doing here. I have met people from all over the world, literally every part of the world, and have been so excited by the response to the Marathon Hangout, and thank you for everyone's support. And also just in general, just the world is really wanting to communicate with each other. I've been surprised at how civil it has been with so many interactions. We've had very few problems and issues, and we'll kind of dive into those as we move along. You see here in front of you, this is my screen, and you'll see down at the bottom portion of the screen, you'll see that my profile image down here has a green box around it, meaning that I have clicked on my own image so you can see it on the screen. If I click off of that, it now becomes voice activated, and we can see that someone over here, it looks like Harold, has activated the voice control by speaking or making a noise. Now if AJ makes a noise, you'll see that his screen will pop up. If AJ can talk or something, you'll see the blue box will activate over on him, or maybe someone else. I guess he's not hearing us. But the green box, basically, there's AJ. A little bit of a delay. But there's AJ basically over there. Now I have all of these guys in here to help me out. I appreciate their attendance here. Let me first point out so that she can leave if she needs to. She's a busy woman, I'm sure. But we have here that I've highlighted Catherine Groves of Google, and I have cut off her audio, so this is a little bit awkward for her, but I've cut off all audio because of the communication mechanism that we're using. We do get quite a bit of echo, and so we've just cut off these audio settings. But Catherine is one of many people who, from Google, has jumped into our Marathon Hangout, helped us with different questions and different issues that we've had. We have been greatly amazed and surprised by Google development team, by the Google leadership, and they have just been phenomenal. We have loved being in the Marathon Hangout, and just thank you very much for your time here, Catherine. Lauren Groves, also from Google, was in here just a few minutes ago. He had to run. I think he may be coming back in a little bit later. Let me start off over here just walking through a typical Hangout and doing a little bit of kind of the integration that we've developed by being here so long. Susie over here is becoming the Hangout genealogy person. She is in teaching genealogy a lot. She is in here on Saturday and Sunday and Monday and every time that she can. She has a blog where she's been commenting about all the different people she's met from all around the world, from many different countries. And I believe she's going to put up a screen right now showing one of the uses that you could do with genealogy. And I don't see her screen yet, but we'll give her just a second. And what we're doing here is we are screencasting different products. We can take, for example, a spreadsheet, and we can show it online. Over here, AJ Klein, who we have some very interesting stories about, he has just played Angry Birds, and if you imagine him here, he can be in here with a whole bunch of friends. They can be playing, and they can be doing stuff in here and showing their scores, talking. Jonathan Maddox is over here, and he's been watching a football game with his mom and dad and his friends and family from around the world. And this just shows you how completely easy it is. Dan brought us into this Hangout just by the click of a button, start a Hangout. And when we did that this morning, we instantly became connected to the world. And we can limit the invitations by the use of our circles, or we can leave them open and let the public come in. Susie's over here showing us the very